But whenever, and you'll hear it, by the way, on my DVDs and CDs, I go into all this in minute detail and tell the background to it. This is exactly what could take place in America, and we are 30 to 60 days away from it.
Yeah, this is just unbelievable. We're going to start taking your calls. Let's go to our first caller. Let's go to Daniel in Virginia. Daniel, you're on the line.
How you doing there, Jason and Pastor Williams? Good evening.
Hi, Daniel.
To you. Yeah, I just want to call and just to say that you are right on the money as far as what's going on. You're right on target because you're absolutely and positively correct as far as some of these things that's going on today, and as far as yesterday and today and in the future, because a lot of people are starting to open their eyes and they're starting to open their ears now, and they're starting seeing all this stuff. And I commend you for doing this, Pastor Williams. I really do, because it takes a lot of guts to come out and say what you are saying.
Well, it certainly does take a lot of guts. And in fact, Lindsey, why don't you give out the information to get your DVDs one more time?
I beg of you, call this number. In fact, my operator was so tired this afternoon, but they said, I will be standing by tonight. If you want to call tonight, please do. I begged them to stay over, and they're there at the phones even tonight. 800-321-2900. I have an 8-DVD set. I would beg you to get it if you don't have it. It's DVDs and CDs, and it explains everything in minute detail. What's happening to farming, banking, the housing crisis, everything from 1960 through 2007. And then I have a 4-DVD set you could get also. The number is 800-321-2900.
Thanks for the call, Daniel. We're going to go to Joe in New Mexico. Joe, you're on the line.
Hi, Jason and Pastor Williams. Great show tonight. I got a million questions I could ask Pastor Williams, but I'm going to boil it down to one. And real quick, Jason, on that Virginia threat report, I last night stayed up late and I put a bunch of information on my blog that kind of went into detail on it. And I know Alex asked about
please forward that to us. Yeah, please do, because I couldn't go through the whole thing.
Yeah, I sent it through the contact information earlier today. So, if you want to use it, you're free to use it. And then as far as Pastor Williams, on this whole connection with the people that you're speaking with, how does that play into, are they members of the Bilderberg group? How does that all fit together? Is it the same players? Are they subordinate to the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, or are they equal? Are they part of that member 100 group? And then is it a coordinated through like the Bilderberg group to know how to handle the dollar and how to have this play out? And then finally, how do the Saudis fit into this whole mix? They're their player in that region as far as oil goes to combat the OPEC, or so I hope that kind of makes sense. But just curious how the big picture fits together.
All right, thank you for the call, Joe. Go ahead, Lindsey.
I lived with these people for 3 years, so I had an opportunity to find out where they're from. Mm-hmm. Most of them are from America, but they're not all from America. Many of them are from other countries. It is not, and I know at this point people want me to get ethnic and say it's a particular racial group. I can't do that, because I have to be honest with you and tell you, as a minister of the gospel, I live with these people, and they're from every ethnic group imaginable. You're talking about who are they? Look at the heads of the IMF and the World Bank, and now, of course, the G20 and the Bilderbergers, and at the very tops of these organizations, you'll find approximately a dozen people. These individuals give exactly how much information they want to be known to the other group. Then it filters down to the Council of Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, who knows a little bit less. Then it goes down to the media, who does exactly what they tell them to do. As a result, we have controlled media today. So it all starts up here at the very top with approximately a dozen people.
That is just astounding, and I try to explain that to people. I mean, if you look at the Bilderberg group, you have about 144 people that meet once a year. They're not always the same people. Those people seem to be in a bigger position than, say, the CFR, where there's 3,000, or its counterpart in Europe, where there's a few thousand of those people. And then, like you said, the Trilateral Commission will also do their bidding, and then the media is really their main tool to introduce these ideas to the American populace in a kind of misogynistic way, where it's kind of easing you into into it and always putting a positive spin on what's going to happen. But really what's happening is they are consolidating power, and they are taking away our freedoms and rights, and they're really just taking away our way of life as well. I mean, when I've got this headline, is America's love affair with the ex-burbs over, and all they're showing are all these empty houses. Well, there's no reason for these houses to be empty unless these people at the top want that. I mean, it blows my mind when people try to say, oh, it's the Jews. I can't stand that. You have someone here who spent time with them telling you, no, this is all ethnicities. This is all races. These are the people at the top. We're going to come back with Lindsey Williams. The call-in line is 866-582-9933. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com.
Attention to the men behind the barred curtain, nor the craters beneath the draped flags. Those hoods are there for your protection, and the meteors these days are the size of corpses. There is a war going on for your mind. We are the insurgents.
And we are back. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. We are glad to be joined by Pastor Lindsey Williams, who's been an ordained Baptist minister for almost 30 years, and we're going to continue to take your calls for Mr. Williams. Let's go to Brian in Canada. Brian, you're on the line.
Hi, Lindsey. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Brian.
I'd like to start by just making a general comment, because I agree with you guys in the sense that the blame game gets kind of tired.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my research, it took me towards more the Catholics and the Jesuits at the end of it, but I've had to try and reason with so many people, and I try and explain to them that even if you were to find these 12 that were at the top that are doing something, unfortunately for them, they are puppets too. They are being used, I believe, by Lucifer, since that's who they pray to and who they bow down to and who they all chase after.
Well, let me just say this. I mean, a lot of these people are members of things like the Bohemian Grove Club and Skull and Bones, which have more than an occultic nature.
Exactly. And you know, that's for me what exposes it all, because it goes with that term that the more we change, the more we stay the same. I expected to find fanciful, imaginative stuff when I followed these people back to see who they were worshiping. To find that they were worshiping all the stuff I read about in the first half of the Bible, I can't say I was surprised, but part of me was, because so much of the world was telling me, no, that's old, that's gone, you won't hear about that. So I try and explain to people that you should really feel sorry for these people and pray for them, because when we're all finished, they'll get kicked off the table too. There's only one winner out of this. They just don't seem to get that. But one of the things that I'd like to point out, too, is that I appreciate being informed on what's coming down the pipe, let's say. But I'm the type of a troubleshooter, problem-solving type of guy, and nothing more I like than what you guys have been providing us, giving us the enemy's plan so that we can see what they're doing. But I also like to try and outthink them and screw them up. Just to give you an example, a while ago it was demonstrated that they feed off of our stupidity, that we don't know the scientific term for water. So recently, every time I ask my kids for a glass of water, I'll do it on purpose to use the scientific term. That way, at least the people around me aren't going to be stupid, I enlighten them, and they ask me why I go through the trouble of doing something like that, and I say, well, because now you know that dihydrogen monoxide is water, and somebody can't screw your brain up telling you it's acid rain, So I'd like more solutions like that, too, when Mr. Williams tells us what's coming down the line.
All right, well, let's ask him. Thank you for the call, Brian. What do you think that the normal person, the average citizen out there, can do to try to protect themselves from the next, 30 to 60 days? What you're saying, how can we protect ourselves, the average guy?
Well, let's first of all look at what the elite have to gain by this, and then you'll find a solution in it. People oftentimes ask me, aren't many of these elite citizens of the United States of America? And I say yes. They say, well, why would they want to destroy their own country? Now, when you understand what they're doing, then you will know how to provide for your dinner table 60 to 90 days down the line. First of all, the elite have convinced the America through their buzzwords, too big to fail. When the smoke is all cleared, the elite of the world will own all of the banks of America. We've bailed them out. The Treasury has given them money, taxpayers. The elite of the world will own all the real estate of America. Now, you have a house, 30-year mortgage. You paid on it for 15 years. All of a sudden, there's a financial collapse in America. You miss your mortgage payment for 3 months. They come in, the lending institution does and takes it back from you. Do they give you anything? No. You've paid for the house. You've already paid 15 years on it. They don't give you one penny whenever they repossess that house. The elite of the world are getting that house free of charge because already they have the control of the lending institutions and the banking institutions of America. So they'll own the majority. I'm estimating somewhere around 75% of the real estate of America. They will own it when all this is over with. Mom and pop businesses that are mortgaged, they'll own the majority of those. And we will basically be exactly what Alex Jones says in his films. I am so glad to see him say this. Oh, you can't imagine how happy I was when I looked at the Obama deception. We will be under a communistic state. If you have a mortgage, do anything in your power to pay off your debit card, pay off your credit card, your mortgage debt, get out of debt every way you can. Anything that is debt, they will own it when it's all over.